Now, the MK Party's urgent application for an interdict to stop next week's Judicial Service Commission interviews will be heard in the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg today. Earlier this week, the JSC turned down the MK Party's request for a postponement pending an appeal against the exclusion of its parliamentary leader, Dr. John Hlophe. But for more on this story, we cross now to SABC reporter Canny Maphanga, who's outside court for us already. Canny, good morning. So, again, very interesting developments around this particular story, but what can we expect from court today?
Well, good morning to you, Sakina, and to the viewers at home. Of course, we'll be in the urgent court this morning before the Honourable Judge Stuart Wilson, who will have to deal with an urgent application brought by the Mkhonto Sizwe political party when they didn't receive any favour from the JSC after they requested a postponement. Essentially, this morning we are in the urgent court, and what they are requesting is a declarator which will declare the decision of the JSC to refuse the postponement of the JSC interview that will start on Monday, the 7th of October, and continue for 2 weeks to be declared unlawful and unconstitutional. In the alternative, what they will seek is an interdict against the JSC to halt them from continuing with those interviews on Monday, pending the review of Part B of various applications that touch on this issue of Dr. Hlophe's suitability to serve on the JSC and the review thereof of his suitability following the Western Cape High Court judgment that granted that interdict that basically stops Dr. John Hlophe as an MK representative from participating in those JSC interviews pending the finalization of this question of whether he is suitable to serve on the JSC. Of course, this is the first instance where we are seeing a judge who has been removed from office becoming a member of parliament. Of course, Section 47 does not bar him from being a member of parliament, but of course, the various interested parties that are concerned with this issue have raised a rationality question. Although there isn't anything unlawful about Dr. Hlophe participating as a member of parliament and being designated as a representative of the MK into the JSC, of course, the question that needs to be answered by the various courts comes from these interested parties raising the question of the rationality of a judge that has been impeached, sitting in the JSC, that is a body that not only looks at the appointments of judges, but of course, to name a few, the disciplining of judges. And it is the same JSC that would have made that decision to refer Dr. Hlophe's impeachment to the National Assembly. So, of course, this morning we are critically only going to be dealing with this question of the declarator or the interdict. If the urgent court feels that the MK has advanced its case for a declarator or an interdict, then it should grant that relief to the MK party. The implication of that would be that the JSC would not be able to continue with those interviews come Monday the 7th. However, if the MK does fail in its bid for that interim relief, at least to halt those interviews from Monday the 7th of October, then we can expect that the JSC will not be able to convene its October leg, that is from Monday the 7th, until the various Part Bs of the review of this critical question of Dr. Hlophe's suitability to serve on the JSC is answered in full by a full court. So that is the critical question that will be answered at 10 a.m. this morning when those proceedings start. Of course, SABC News will be giving you those visuals live when court begins at 10 a.m. here at the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg. Over to you in studio.
Thanks so much, Canny Maphanga, laying it out for us. And of course, interesting. And the development subsequent to this particular judgment will be equally interesting to follow. Canny Maphanga on that beat for us. And we'll be keeping you up to speed on SABC News, as Canny indicated.